In this video, we'll look at how to generate an executable business process model, or BPM, from an analysis BPM. This allows you to refine the work done at the analysis level by specifying the implementation of the processes. We'll also look at how to attach web services to processes. We'll generate an executable BPM and then import a web service definition language, or WSDL file, to associate a web service with a process. Our analysis model includes 3 organization units who are represented by swim lanes in the diagram. We can see who is responsible for each of the processes by looking at which swim lane they appear in. The warehousing department handles the dispatch of the goods. The sales department checks stocks and sends various kinds of emails, and the accounting department verifies the method of payment. We'll start off by generating the executable BPM from our analysis model. To do this, I select Tools, Generate Business Process Model. As you can see, Power Designer supports many of the most popular business process languages. And for this example, we'll use BPEL 4WS, which is a standard for allowing businesses to describe processes that consume and provide web services. We'll give the executable model a name and click OK to begin the generation. The executable model appears in the browser, and its main diagram, showing the top-level process, is opened in the work area. BPEL requires a top-level process as a container for any sub-processes. These sub-processes will be implemented through interactions with web services. First up, I'll rename the top-level process. This first diagram should contain only top-level processes, organization units, and role associations. I'm now going to add the organization units that will interact with these business activities. I can drag and drop existing organization units from the browser into the diagram. Next, I'll link these organization units to the top-level process using the role association tool. Role associations are used to express the relationships that permit interactions between organization units and processes, and these will be used to generate partner links which are required in order to generate BPEL code. You can view the properties of an association by double-clicking it. The BPEL tag allows you to enter properties specific to this language, but I won't worry about these for now. Now, we'll open the top-level process to access the sub-processes. I hold down the Control key and double-click the process symbol. And now, I'll scroll up to find the credit card process. Here's the process. I'll import a WSDL file which contains definitions of the web services that I want to attach to it. I select Language, Import WSDL. I click the Browse button to locate the file, select it, and click OK. This web service contains a single interface called Bank Account Management Service, but yours may contain more. I click OK to begin the import. The Merge Models window allows us to be very specific about what we'll import, but here I'll just click OK. The web service is imported and listed in the browser under Service Providers. When I expand it, I can see the interfaces it contains, as well as the operations belonging to each interface. The easiest way to attach a web service to a process is to drag it from the browser and drop it onto the process symbol. The process symbol now displays a little icon below the name to show that it has a service provider attached. I can look at the details by double-clicking on the symbol to open its property sheet. I click the Implementation tab in order to see the details of the operation. The default type of implementation is Execute Operation, and the operation it will execute is the one that we have chosen. Note how the name of the operation is preceded by the name of the web service and its interface. The default action type is Invoke Operation, which means that the process sends a message to the operation and then receives a response. These defaults are suitable for our process, which will send a message containing credit card information to the web operation and receive a response based on this info. Next, I click on the Create button to the right of the Sent Message Mapping field in order to create a variable that will carry the parameters that will be received by the operation and used by it to prepare its message. You will need to further define these variables in order to pass parameters to and from an operation, but that is outside the scope of this tutorial. I do the same for the Receive message. Note that there is also a BPEL tab, which allows you to specify other language-specific properties, and a Preview tab that allows you to view the BPEL code that will be generated for the process. You can also create a web service definition and attach it to a process directly in the process property sheet. I'll open the Receive Order Request process and click the Implementation tab as before. This will be another execute operation process, but this time I'll create a new operation to implement it. I click the New button to the right of the Implemented By field to open the new operation wizard. This wizard allows me to add the new operation to an existing service provider or to create a new one. I'll create a new web service called Order Management. I need to add a new interface, and so I'll call it Customer Interaction. When I click Finish, the new operation is created. I rename the operation and then select the Input-Output tab in order to define the messages. I enter a name for the input message and then create a new format. You can rename the format and define other properties, but I'll just click OK to return to the operation property sheet. Now the operation is defined and I'm ready to return to the process. This operation will receive a message and return a confirmation response. So I choose Receive Request and Reply. Next, I'll create variables for the sent and receive messages. Again, I won't define the variable in detail. Now that the operation and associated messages are defined, I click OK in the process property sheet to return to the diagram. The process now displays the little icon to indicate that it is implemented via a web service, and the new service appears in the browser in the Service Providers folder. In this video, we have seen how to generate an executable BPM from an analysis BPM, and how to implement an activity by way of a web service operation. For more information, see the Power Designer Business Process Model User's Guide.